Good afternoon, and you're watching Beyond the Headlines. I'm DJ Moises. So today we turn to a story of an 8-year-old fighting acute myeloid leukemia, and her family is seeking support to cover the cost of treatment. And today we go beyond the headlines because we also want to surface certain challenges that families face. And so to understand the human impact behind the headline and behind this 8-year-old's story, we begin with the story of Rhianne, who is bravely fighting acute myeloid leukemia. After months of chemotherapy and achieving remission, her leukemia has unfortunately relapsed, and doctors are urging an urgent bone marrow transplant, her best chance for survival. On the phone is Jeneline and Brian Manatad, Rhianne's parents, who will share more about her condition, the urgent treatment plan, and how the public and how can we help support her fight against leukemia. So good afternoon, Jen and Brian. Yeah, maayong hapon. Sige, for us to be able to get to know the case even better ba, can you tell us what was your reaction the first time you learned about Rhianne's condition? Uh, Hello, Jen, are you there?
Hello?
Oh yes, it's
Yes,
Brian.
sir.
Yeah, sige. So Jen and Brian, salamat ha for joining us this afternoon. So can you tell us and the viewers ba, what was your first reaction when you learned about Rhianne's condition?
But, of course, sir, kami as parents, nag-uol din pag-ayo. Kay, we thought na kanang okay na siya, tuloy-tuloy na ang iyahang pagkaayo. And so naanagod mi sa maintenance phase niya. So minimal na lang yung iyahang chemotherapy tambal. And then sa atin kato siya nga pangitabi na return na ibalik ang iyang sakit, so kami nag-uol gyud kaayo ni as parents niya.
And then from what we gathered, ang main kinahanglan gid nato, at least per the doctor's advice, is the bone marrow transplant, no? Can you walk us through what this treatment is?
Actually, sir, kanang before sa bone marrow transplant, need pa siya mo undergo og aggressive chemotherapy.
Okay.
Kay kailangan i-clear, i-zero gitanan iyang sa iyang bone marrow ba, i-clear gitanan o na isog na tambal ang kailangan niya. Ato miya na dapat sa kanang sa PGH, unta mi mo adto niya. Ang ingon sa doktor, ang iyang estimate na nadaan 200K na wala pa na ilabot sa bone marrow. Kaya after na, kung mag-remission na siya after sa aggressive chemo, ibalhin dayon mi sa St. Luke, kinara man dito ang available nga mo transplant sa bone marrow. Ang estimate po dito, another na po 3 to 5 billion down.
So, ako lang ikuan, Jen, if na-capture na correctly, no, so that the viewers will also know how to support
Yes, sir.
Rhianne and you and Brian better, no? So, ang first step gid nga kinahanglan ni Rhianne is ang chemotherapy, no?
Oo,
And
aggressive chemotherapy.
yes, and
Kay nibalik naman ang iyang cancer cells na resistant siya sa iyang chemo karon, so need mo balik sa start na pod nga i-clear na pod tanan ang mga cancer cells nga nibalik karon before mi mag bone marrow transplant.
And this needs to be done, ang kaning aggressive chemotherapy sa PGH, no? And you mentioned the
PGH.
cost just for the chemotherapy alone. This will cost how much, gani, Jen?
200K daw.
200K.
After ang mga antibiotics and mga chemo drugs
Oh, and then,
and laboratories.
yes. Sorry, Jen. Continue.
Chemo ro to.
Sige, and then after chemotherapy, that's when she would proceed to the bone marrow transplant,
Oo.
which would be,
After that,
and then the cost of the bone marrow transplant is
3 to 5 million ang estimate daw.
3 to 5 million ang estimate, and then Rhianne will need to have this in St. Luke's, no?
Oo, St. Luke's Hospital.
Okay. Sige, at least kanang kabalupod ang viewers nato on the needed treatment and the corresponding cost of the treatment that's required. How urgent as are these treatments man sa Jen?
Ang ingon din sa doctor kay asap to daw kay class dili daw mukatag ang cancer cells pa ba kay ang iyang pag first diagnose ko lang nakita na nga naabot sa jud sa brain ang iyang cancer cells lutong agi pa may radiation therapy para na ma-clear to niya karon kini balik sa siya isog jud siya nga cancer cells so dapat daw asap chemo siya balik niya bone marrow transplant siya para dili na makatag samot ang cancer cells.
Mm-hmm. So it's as soon as possible. So sige
Oo,
Jen.
asap daw.
Okay, we are flashing man sad the information on screen man sad on how our viewers can send help no and support for Rhianne's treatment. But can you also just walk us through on how they can support you?
Yes, sa tao na makakita sa mga post or sa viewers ng sir, you can send donations to our GCash numbers and from our BDO account and Xlip account. And we also have Go Get Funding link so that mga tao na nasa gawas or naka-help sa.
Sige, salamat Brian no, for giving us the details, and for those of us who are watching, the numbers, whether it's through GCash or through BDO or through East West Bank, you can also view the account information and the numbers on screen. So before we end this conversation, Brian and Jen ba, what gives you hope in this fight man no? For Rhianne to really get very well soon, no? What gives you hope, man?
Si Rhianne Manggod is ang fighting gid siya. So dili sad namo siya pwede kanang pasagdan lang kuan siya siyang sakit. So kami as parents amo gid buhaton tanan para sa siya maayo and para sa mga for teacher niya because Rhianne is a very intelligent girl, smart siya with high honors pa, so dili mo siya pwede pasagdan gid na siya kanang brighter future.
And thank you Brian for allowing us to get to know Rhianne even better, no? And I agree with you, no? Kanang she has a bright future ahead. And the good thing actually, it's because both you and Jen, along with Rhianne, remain very hopeful and optimistic about her recovery. So I would agree with you, the best that we can do, so that includes myself and the viewers, is to support your family and Rhianne in this journey. So salamat for sharing your story with us today.
Daghang salamat sa
Thank
inyo
you,
sir. Program. Thank you.
Sige. And for our viewers, every bit of support actually counts, no? Whether it's through donation, and you have just seen how you can donate, no? Through GCash, through BDO, and through East West Bank. And just in case you need further information on this one, we have posted these also in our Sunstar page, no? Just in case you missed these details. And we can also support them, not just financially, but we can also be present for them, no? Whether it's emotionally, mentally, and more importantly, spiritually. No? We can keep Rhianne and also her family in prayers. No? So that's our story for this afternoon. We just want to seize this opportunity, no, that we can rally together and be able to be present, no, in whatever way we can to families, no, like Jen, like Brian, and like Rhianne, who are also going through certain challenges. So yesterday we covered kanang 2 stories, and these are still developing stories as we speak, no. Kay yesterday we shared the story of katong Apol Amahan, in which she had her kanang challenges also when she was admitted and she was about to give birth at Cebu City Medical Center. And in a nutshell, it took 4 hours, no, even under constant appeal, no, for her to be moved already, because at that time there was, at least she was told, that there was only one doctor that was available. But the question that we raised yesterday is, why did it take 4 hours, no, for them to eventually move her to Vicente Soto? And by then, nawala na, no, ang iyaang daughter, no. So it would have been a cause for celebration, but because of the lack of proper coordination and the delay of the transfer, it also caused the death, no, of her baby. So even for the past 2 days, we have been reaching out also to Cebu City Medical Center to ask their side of the story, because Sunstar would also want to be biased, want to be impartial and not biased to just one side of the story. But for 2 days, we're not also getting any confirmation from them to join in the conversation. But the reason why we still surface this until today, because this is the type of conversations in which the intention is not necessarily to point fingers, no? When we say accountability, it's not about putting people on the spot or organizations on the spot. When we speak about accountability, what we just want is for us to understand what the problem was, so that we would be able to solution them effectively, so that no similar incident will happen to a mother and to a daughter ever again, because we learned our lesson. Now, the other story also that we surfaced yesterday was also about this 15-year-old boy. This time was also admitted in the provincial hospital in Karkar. And just like the story of Apol and her baby, there was also another delay, because he was brought to the hospital at 1 a.m. and was transferred to Vicente Soto already 10 a.m. the following day, no? And he arrived in Vicente Soto 12 noon. So taas na po ang delay. And 2 days later, the 15-year-old boy also passed away. Unsa man say cause, at least from what we gathered, still the same, delay, no? And this time, in the context also of the e-referral program and e-referral system. And if we recall, ang conversation po nato about atong e-referral, we understand exactly why this is needed, because ang purpose unta ani is to keep the patient from moving from one hospital to the next, mag-hospital hopping. That's why they need to use the e-referral system, so that they would be able to get a confirmation that a hospital can actually accept a patient. So it's a noble intention why the digital or technology system is there. But again, the problem is, why did it take so long for them to get into a decision, which again resulted to death, no? And healthcare is really an essential piece already of every person's life, no? Along with, sa una magstorya ta about food, shelter, clothing, but now there's technology, which is essential, and healthcare is also essential. So I hope that to our viewers, we will continue to surface conversations like this, so that no other family will experience what could have been a preventable death, at least in my opinion. And then at the same time, for those of our decision makers and our government leaders to take more action, no? And to see gaps such as this one to be solutioned better moving forward. Again, the intention is not pointing finger. The solution here is understanding what the problem is, so that we would be able to provide the right solution to prevent recurrence. So that's our episode for today's Beyond the Headlines. And just like Cebu City Medical Center, we would also welcome thoughts from our provincial government leaders, if ever they are, and also the administrators and representatives also of the provincial hospital in Karkar. Now, these stories remind us that the real impact of medical emergencies and critical illnesses on families, from a mother who survived a life-threatening labor, and this was the case of Apol Amahan, and eventually another case also of another family in Karkar, that results to a loss of life, which in my opinion would have been preventable. To a story of 8-year-old Rhianne, who is also bravely fighting leukemia. And in all these stories, we see courage, resilience, and the urgent need for timely care and support. And as we continue to follow these stories, we also encourage our viewers to support families in need, whether through action, awareness, which is also important, and prayer. I'm DJ Moises, and this is Beyond the Headlines.